Welcome to Stop the Genocide in American Ghettos podcast. I'm your host, Emmanuel Barbee. I would like to encourage everyone on my Facebook friends list, everyone in my social groups, and all of my listeners from around the globe. Please do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to my YouTube page, and share this video podcast on all social media sites you are on, such as Facebook, Instagram, X, formerly known as Twitter, TikTok, and LinkedIn, ladies and gentlemen. This video podcast is available in three forms: audio, video, and as a written text in order for us to reach our audience. I am the founder and president of GRACAM, the Grassroots Community Activist Movement. Help Stop the Genocide in American Ghettos podcast is our Black media component. For those of you who don't know me, then get to know me by purchasing and reading my story. Quote, The Solution for Black America, Reclaiming, Rebuilding, and Restoring the Urban Ghettos in America, 2nd edition. It's available as an ebook for $9.99 or as a paperback for $15 plus shipping and handling. I provide the link to my Amazon author page in the comment section below this video podcast. After you have read my story, and if you agree with my vision and plan to improve Black America, specifically Black Chicago, then make arrangements with me to come on this platform, get on camera, and let's talk about it. And encourage others to get involved with our cause and back this film project. We have upgraded our platform by moving from an audio podcast to a video podcast using StreamYard. We want to interact with our audience in real time through Facebook Messenger during our live stream. I created GRACAM in order to connect with other like-minded Black Americans, like-minded African immigrants within the United States of America, Afro-Caribbeans, Afro-Latinos, and Afro-Brazilians, as well as continental Africans. I encourage everyone on my Facebook page, everyone in my social groups who are Black entrepreneurs, African entrepreneurs, Black artists, African artists, Black authors, African authors, musicians, poets, community advocates, and spiritual leaders to make arrangements with me to come on this platform so that you can promote your products and services or share a 30-minute sermon with my listeners from the global community. We want to grow this platform for the global African community throughout the diaspora. For 32 years, the Black Americans have taken me for joke, specifically Black Chicagoans. They have rejected and overlooked my vision and plan to help improve our communities. All I have is my revised book, my virtual store, my online groups, and this platform. My film project is my last attempt to do something positive for my racial group before I cut and run to Africa. I want to use this film project to reach the Black masses and the Black world and let them know who we are and what we're trying to do for our people that's trapped in American ghettos for credibility before we expand to Africa, Brazil, and the Caribbean. Work with me while I'm alive. Don't wait until I'm dead. This is why I am reaching out to African immigrants within the United States of America to help speed up the process. I encourage African immigrants in America from the following African nations: South Africa, Kenya, Ethiopia, Tanzania, Uganda, Angola, Liberia, Ivory Coast, Ghana, and Nigeria, to please purchase my revised book, either the ebook or the paperback, and read my story. If you agree with my vision and plan to help improve Black America, then make arrangements with me to come on this platform and let's talk about it. And encourage others to back this film project. Please share my information with your friends, including your non-Black friends. This will help speed up the process. Our aim is to raise $250,000 We are using crowdfunding. We have GoFundMe page, and we also have a PayPal page. If you are a U.S. citizen, then you can use our PayPal page as a tax write-off because this is a legitimate 501c3 nonprofit faith-based and community advocacy organization. My Christian business, we will raise the bar in Black America. We will separate ourselves from con artists, the Black boule, degenerates, Democrat shields, hardened criminals, pedophiles, off-code Negroes, and urban terrorists. Those who reject my vision and plan will not be a part of this Christian business because it's membership-based. We will pray for them, show them tough love, and keep it moving. Question at hand. How long will it take for this film project to get fully funded and made? It's up to the Black grassroots and the global African family. We encourage non-Black sympathizers to patronize our film project, but it's Black Americans and African immigrants who are GRCAM members' responsibility to build it and to own it. I try to host my show every week in order to engage people on my friends list and people in my social groups until I'm able to raise the funds for this film project. Once the proceeds from the film starts coming in, then I would be in a better position financially to purchase property in Chicago, buy office equipment, hire qualified Black middle-class professionals and African immigrants within the United States to work with me in building the Grassroots Community Activist Institute of Chicago. I refuse to be ignored. Those of you who will work with me will go down in history with me and Sister Renee. Lord knows I want to do more than just news and social commentaries, but at this point, this is where I'm at. I'm working on a shoestring budget. All of my funds go towards bills, food, and rent. Without financial support from the Black grassroots and the global African family, then I am unable to do my God-given assignment, which is to build the best African-American business within the United States of America, GRCAI of Chicago. This is a Nehemiah assignment. Upcoming events. Please mark your calendar for the following date for our monthly virtual conference. Facebook Live event, Saturday, September 28th, 2024. GRCAM virtual conference. Theme, lessons learned from the UK riots. Where? Facebook Live / StreamYard. Time, 2 p.m. through 4 p.m. American Central Time, 3 p.m. Canadian Time, 8 p.m. West African Time, 9 p.m. South African Time, 10 p.m. East African Time, and 8 p.m. UK Time. Instructions on how to participate on the show. First, watch my video presentation. This is called Side A. After I finish my presentation, then I will open up the phone lines through Facebook Messenger and drop a link to StreamYard Studio so that you can interact with me in real time on camera. This is called Side B. Title of this presentation, California's Black Caucus Killed Reparations Bill. And Van Jones claimed Democrats have moved from justice, diversity, and reparations to freedom. Our first topic, California's Black Caucus Killed Reparations Bill. California has become the front line for reparations and economic justice for descendants of American slaves. California reparations activists are protesting because the state legislature refused to bring the reparations bill to the floor, saying they have the votes. They are demanding a vote or they will not vote for Kamala Harris. Democracy is not happening at the state level or the federal level because when Black Americans want democracy and they want to vote for something, they want to hold their elected officials accountable. They're not allowed to even vote on it because there is no democracy. It's a dictatorship ran by the governor and the state, ran by the governor and the Speaker of the House. We got to stop allowing them to play games with us. A sister by the name of Camilla Moore was encouraging people in California to come to the California State House. Steve Bradford put forth the 2 reparations bill, but the California Legislative Black Caucus was against it. Governor Gavin Newsom didn't want to see any bills as it pertains to reparations. Even if they passed it, he was going to veto it. She did everything within her power in a short period of time. Shout out to that sister. It took Governor Gavin Newsom 2 years to conduct a study, and now they're playing games. The crazy thing about this is that they're doing this in the middle of an election year. We have 2 months left before the actual election. I encourage all of my listeners who are American citizens to register to vote and help the situation for Black Americans. You can go to vote.gov to register, because what's the point of talking about politics if you're not going to do anything about it? I found a video clip from ABC 10 online. To watch the video, just go to my Medium transcript, which is located in the comment section below this video podcast. Click on the link and then scroll down to show and prove. I'm not going to play that video. You're going to have to do that yourself because this is interactive. That's just how it is with this show. You know, I'm putting forth the time to, write up my speeches and, present my commentary. So, it is what it is. But basically what I've learned from watching the video is that in California, the Congressional Black Caucus members voted against the reparations bill. Reparations activists said they had enough votes to get it passed. It was about the reparations bill on the final day of the California's legislative sessions that weren't being addressed. The bills that focus on lineage-based cash payment reparations to descendants of American slaves. The California state government doesn't care that the world is watching. Reparation activists said this will have a direct impact on Kamala Harris' political campaign for president. All they had to do is send the 2 bills to the floor, vote on them, and then send the bill to Governor Gavin Newsom. He was either going to sign them or veto them. You had a so-called brother by the name of Reggie Byron Jones Sawyer Sr. going up there trying to sabotage our reparations by mocking reparation advocates. Our so-called black representatives is mocking us. This is why we're pushing the slogan, vote against blue no matter who. We got to send a strong message to the Democrat Party from the top of the ticket to the bottom. To local elections, Black Americans are starting to wake up, and my words are finally being received by the Black grassroots across the United States of America. And to me, that's a good thing. Because again, I've been pushing, my vision for the past 32 years. It gets tiresome, but somebody has to do this. And unfortunately, that's me. And, I'm on the scene, and I just take this stuff serious. I encourage all of my listeners to watch the video clips to see what they're reporting on in the state capitol, where the legislative session is wrapping up, and lawmakers are deciding the fate of two bills that haven't passed. The conversation about reparations did not exist outside of what we've been talking about in my social groups. But we're here now, the new Black voices of media. We've been online for 3 decades, and now I'm trying to take Cam to the next level, and that is the big screen, to let the Black world know who we are and what we're trying to do for our people that are trapped in American ghettos, starting in Chicago. We've been talking about reparations the whole time. This was a conversation that simply was not occurring. Now it's taken over the airwaves, which means the white supremacist financial elites had to take a stand. The biggest buzz in the State House is about reparations. I told my group members since the beginning, we have propagandists giving us misinformation. Well, Emmanuel, how do we know that's reliable? I say, don't listen to me. Listen to them and become critical thinkers. Notice the buzzword is about 2 bills that have been left out on purpose. I explained to my group members 2 decades ago that the mainstream media will try to pretend that we don't exist. The biggest buzz in those 2 bills that were not voted on, like funding reparations. The final hours of the California legislative sessions kicked into overdrive as lawmakers tried to get their bills prepared. Lawmakers passed landmark bills to make amends for racism and proposals. They allowed for the return of land or compensation to families whose properties was unfairly taken by the government. From what I understand, this is one step in the right direction, which is having these things codified in law. I remember I talked about Bruce Beach, which is a perfect example of why we need things in writing. I didn't like the way that went down. Now, Bruce Beach is called Manhattan Beach. His family never had a chance to get their land back, and the whole thing was a setup from the get-go. Those land developers never intended to return the land. The whole thing was a setup. They're supposed to get their money and their land back. So what those land developers came up with was another scheme, because I'm like, wait a minute, you have sand and you've already put other structures there. They need to have an estimate because it was already developed before those land developers came on the scene. The land developers offered them a check, but they're supposed to get a check plus their land back across the board. The money is what the land developers owe them for everything they've been deprived of. Getting their land back and getting compensation for it, the land developers have deprived them. That's why I didn't like it. As it pertains to reparations in California, the money local Black Americans are supposed to get are owed damages for what the state has done. When we talk about reparation, that is what we've been deprived of. we were deprived of money. So when I hear them say paying people for land that was already taken from them against their will, the land issue is important. We need a formal apology for laws and past landmark bills to make amends for racism. Again, the proposals they approve allow for the return of land and compensation to black families whose properties were unfairly taken by the state government. The state government owes a formal apology for laws and practice that harm black Americans. But the buzz around the reparation bill package was over. That wasn't addressed in lineage-based cash payment reparations to descendants of American slaves. Senator Steve Bradford, author the SB 1403 bill, aims to establish the California American Freemen Affair Agency, while SB 1331 funds reparation. Both were not voted on. The California Legislative Black Caucus pulled the bill. In other words, they killed the bill. If you show up and vote Democrat at this point, just know you are a race traitor. Don't complain about the illegal immigrants. Don't complain about what you are not getting, because if you go and reward the Democrats after this stunt in California, then you are fine with everybody else stepping over you, your children, and your grandchildren. Our so-called black representatives are the new overseers on the Democrat plantation. How can black Americans progress anywhere when you have representatives who are in cahoots with the white supremacist financial elites? You would think, since we come from the same community, they're melanated just like us, surely they would be looking out for our best interests, right? The sinister part of this is that they're assisting other groups to leap over us and to sabotage black Americans so they could benefit and care less about the African American community. Our greatest stumbling block is black politicians who are bought and paid for to undermine our progress. What they want to keep us subservient. In Greco, Chicago, we will take the lead in turning around the African American community by teaching our members and students about building our own schools, grocery stores, restaurants, movie theaters, pretty much everything that our ancestors did during Black Wall Street. But this time, it will be on an international level in Africa, Brazil, and in the Caribbean. Our objective is to become the pillar of the African American community and the African immigrant community. Gavin Newsom signed a bill where parents do not have to be told if their children is thinking about having a sex change. All of this is to target our children, and who's promoting all this targeting of children? The Democrats. I don't see the Green Party, the Libertarian Party, or the Independent Party, or the Republicans doing none of this. If you destroy the traditional family in any nation, you destroy a nation from within, because you don't have a traditional family. You just have a bunch of broken homes that becomes a societal problem. America is being destroyed because of a lack of morality, no-fault divorce, and of course, abortion. Let us be clear about who the real villains are and who are the corporates. It's not Trump. It's not MAGA. It's not the alt-right. You can't blame them for this. This is all a bunch of Democrats sitting around talking about something that the Republicans have no power to stop. Reparation advocates were trying to pass the reparations bill that we've been stumping for the last couple of years. But when it came time for them to introduce the two important bills on the floor about reparations, Black Democrats did some kind of bait and switch. They didn't want to present it on the floor. They've been doing a lot of undermining. A lot of activists from the Black grassroots converge on the Capitol. They're now trying to get the California Legislative Black Caucus to do the right thing. Family, it's the Black Democrats that's putting a wrench in this thing. What's interesting is that it was a white Republican who stepped forward and actually tried to introduce the reparation bill to the assembly. But he didn't get approved to do that. They call it motions. The Black so-called representatives sabotaged the bill. We got to understand something. These Black politicians are in, I'm going to say, in a position to sabotage any type of progress that we trying to make. This is going to be a horrible look for the Democrats, especially during the middle of an election year. Notice, these career politicians are giving blank checks to non-citizens with our tax dollars. But when it comes to descendants of American slaves, the people that have a legitimate grievance, all of a sudden they want to play games with us. We're stressing that the reparations language be lineage-based reparations, not race-based, because they're trying to make it race-based because these Black politicians who are bought and paid for by the white supremacist financial elites want to say that it's race-based so that it doesn't pass. And then they're going to want to blame it on the Republicans. If we're talking about reparations, then it's for slavery against descendants of American slaves or freemen. At the very last minute, they tried to pull a little twist here and there. We have the California Legislative Black Caucus. That is the entity first of all. That's a nonprofit organization. Let's be clear. They're not a government organization. They're a nonprofit. They are a caucus, but they fall underneath the nonprofit rules. They issued a press release. They claimed that the two bills, SB 1403 and SB 1331, the caucus position is that they did not authorize these bills. Senator Bradford authorized these two bills. The caucus is saying that they have their own reparation legislation package. They're saying that the bill is not part of their package, so they won't support it. Everyone on the California Legislative Black Caucus need to be scrutinized. The Democrats are playing games with our reparations, but they're giving all of these resources to non-citizens. We have to send a strong message to the Democrat Party. Vote against blue no matter who. Crash and burn, you son of a gun, as a political slogan. From my understanding, the Black Democrats in the Assembly are preventing the reparations bill from getting on the floor. Senator Bradford can't bring his bills to the floor at this point because the bill is in the Senate Assembly. These two bills are at the last stage before it reached the governor. Senator Stephen Bradford, with these two bills to create a reparations agency. He has had much success getting these two bills out of the committees for the past 8 months. The Black Caucus at the last minute has collectively tried to stop Bradford's bill from being introduced on the floor. The Black Democrats lied on Bradford, and they're the ones who pulled the bills under an active foul, and they lied on him. Bradford is the author of the Reparations Fund and the Reparations Bill. He did not put his own bill in the active foul. The California Legislative Black Caucus put out a press release full of excuses. Please vote them out of office. Please vote them out of office. The Democrats look really bad right about now. They cannot point the finger at the Republicans. Family, we got to understand, a lot of these career Black politicians are in their position to be gatekeepers and prevent Black grassroots like Graham from getting funds and having influence. But glory to God, we now live in the information age along with this new technology called the internet. We can bypass them much faster. Their job is to make sure we don't get nothing done. The reason why we don't get things done is because we have to separate ourselves from these off-code Negroes who are full of this Willie Lynch mentality. That's what I've been telling y'all for the longest. That's what I talk about in the book. And what I'm trying to, this is why I'm bringing up this social commentary, because this is real. This is what's going on in real life, in real time. We have to start moving in different ways. When we get things popping, we take responsibility, then things can get done. We're under a system of white supremacy, and Black Americans are always sabotaged as long as we live in this country. If Kamala Harris wins the election, she's going to weaken Black America big time. And you still have goofy off-code Negroes supporting her at this stage of the game. Under the system of white supremacy, the white supremacist financial elites, they created their own military. That's how they were able to colonize Africa, Australia, Canada, South America, and the New World, which is now called the United States of America. They subjugated melanated people, but the thing is, we're powerful people. We've made a lot of mistakes, like having tribal wars and allowing foreigners to come in our continent. God has blessed Africa with the most diamonds, gold, minerals, and oil. This is why other groups hate us so much, because we have all of the natural resources in the world. I am called to gather like-minded Black Americans and like-minded African immigrants within the United States of America to work with me to turn my vision and plan into a reality, and for us to create the Grassroots Community Activist Institute of Chicago. We've made a lot of mistakes as Black Americans and as Africans. We have failed our children from generation to generation, but that can change now if we all work together under this organization I'm trying to get off the ground. We have the power to stop these people from continue to subjugate us. They did not expect for us to still be on this reparation issue. We making sure that we are excluding certain words from our vocabulary, like quote unquote minority, people of color. Over here, we refer to ourselves as M1. That means melanated first. We don't want all of these other groups trying to piggyback off our struggles. We're talking about a very specific group of people, descendants of American slaves or freemen. We got to be very specific about this language. We don't do a good job at screening people or vetting people. That's a problem right there. In that assembly right now, we have these black politicians who voting against our interests. Brother Tariq Nasheed calls them tethers, but we also have our own type of sellouts and coons that was on the plantation with us. They're in our family members today. In my Christian business, we will exclude them from us. We're not getting caught up with all that kumbaya stuff. We got people out here trying to undermine us based on our lineage. We need our reparations because the cost of living in America is going to get more expensive. The purpose of us building a Kai of Chicago is for those who are unable to leave the United States of America based on their finances. It's also for credibility among the African American community and the black world. The best way to punish the Democrats politically is to let them crash and burn. Vote against blue no matter who. We got to make examples out of them if we're gonna pull this kind of move, especially during the middle of an election year. Let's make sure they don't get reelected next year. In fact, let's see if we can recall these people now, just like we did in the Ferguson during the Mike Brown protests, when they were playing those little games by not punishing road cops. We started encouraging young black people to register to vote. Power is all about being able to punish those who wrong us in a legal way. We want white America to know we're on business. Shout out to all of our listeners worldwide. We got to get on code first by purchasing my revised book and helping me get that revised book on that bestsellers list so that way the black world can take us serious. All the principles in my revised book is the code for GERCAM members. Other groups are exclusionary to the benefit of their own group, and we need to do the same thing. We have our young black men and young black boys out here getting slaughtered by urban terrorists and road cops. Nobody really cares, other than to use their death to push their own agenda, just like the Black Lives Matter movement. They really don't care about the death of black males. They are more concerned about gaining notoriety off the deaths of our brothers and sisters. They use those deaths to elevate themselves. They use someone else's tragedy as an opportunity. When they see us on the black grassroots trying to stomp for justice, these same people try to take that momentum to elevate themselves. So we got to understand we have some people within our group who just don't care about us as a collective because they are Americanized and they have a narcissist behavior. My thing is all about punishing these Democrats politically. It's a power move. A lot of Black Americans are afraid of power because we've allowed this matriarchal thing to lead the community, and then what happened is a lot of these male embrace feminine energy, and that is dangerous and destroying our community. For example, in Atlanta, we had a power move that we were trying to make with our brother Paul Howard, who was the prosecutor down there. We were trying to keep him in office because a black man got shot at a Wendy's parking lot by a road cop. Paul Howard was going to punish, that road cop, but District Attorney Fana Willis was running against him, and she was getting papered up by the police union. I encourage Black Americans in Atlanta to vote against her and not let her get into office. They didn't listen. And what happened? Fana Willis got into office and let the road cop off and focus on getting Young Thug and his crew, and that dried up all the money and resources out there in Atlanta. We got to learn how to utilize power when we are in a majority in a city. We have to be in the mindset of power. Black men, we got to start thinking in terms of power moves. The sisters will back us up. Once we get this film project fully funded and made, that would help put me in a better position financially to hire qualified Black middle class professionals and African immigrants to work with me in terms of getting this Christian business up and running. We will have live comedians, actors, commentary foods, networking events. We will also, for the youth, we will have, I would say, Christian spoken word versus secular spoken word. And whoever can flow the best, we will give them $500 in cash. Life is too short for us to be going through unnecessary drama. We got to have balance. And in this business, we're going to heal collectively from enslavement and colonization. Now, Brother Malcolm X told us that we've been telling you for the longest that the Democrats have been fooling you into thinking that they're fighting for Black American. You can't blame this on Trump. The Democrats are the majority in California legislature. However, you don't see that kind of fight happening against these illegal immigrants. They're not even supposed to be on the soil. Understand something, Black America. We have been the target for the white supremacist financial elites. The California Legislative Black Caucus pulled the bill because it said the proposal need more work. And that's a lie. They did that because they didn't want the governor to catch any heat. That's all that was. So they decided to take the fall. According to activists with Coalition for Just and Equitable California, the only bill that even had a chance of being called reparations are the ones that did not pass. This is exactly what we need. The internet has exposed a lot of these fake black militant integrationists. There's no evidence, no documentation, or paperwork to prove that they are about helping improve the African American community. It just doesn't exist. This is why I prefer this information age, so that whatever you are saying can be backed up and documented. You can't pretend that you are fighting for black people, yet you are in cahoots with the white supremacist financial elites to undermine black progress. In this case, it was black Democrats that pulled these two bills. Back in the 80s and 90s, we couldn't look up the vote and who voted for what and who voted against it. But now we can. We've been doing this against us for decades, but glory to God, we are in the information age with this new technology, like the internet, to help expose our enemies within. We're catching you in real time, and that's what we're going to do in Ghettos, Chicago. Believe that. To the people who deserve reparations, we're 160 years overdue. There was a glimmer of hope that those two bills were not heard, but that hope quickly evaporated. So a lot of people that were protesting were disappointed with that outcome. There's another bill that we're keeping a close eye on, SB 44. That would make it a felony to purchase a child for sex. That should have already been on the bills, but it is what it is. Reparations bill SB 1050 is headed to the governor's desk. Restitution for taking land, racially motivated use of the eminent domain. This is not a political movement going on. This is a social movement which is not beholden to the legislature. That's the issue. The LA Times is trying to put a spin on it. California Democrats talk the big game on reparations, and they're off to a slow start. That's what the LA Times said. I'm going to say quote unquote. They're not off to a slow start. They think that they're going to play the same old smoke and mirrors that they've been doing to black Americans. But this is a new day. Now we can identify our enemies in real time. The one thing they did not want to happen was to be exposed. The whole idea was that they would do this and then blame the Republicans, and nobody would know the truth. But unfortunately, the streets are watching, so now they are put on notice. We have their names, and we will vote them out of office. They've been sitting in front of us saying, yeah, I'm in favor of reparation, but when we're not around, they pull this little stunts like this. That's not cool. We have a political movement and a social movement going on. The political movement is here to force them to get on record and to force the governor to veto those two specific bills. That's a political tactic. That's a campaign. You want to talk about having a PAC and a campaign. Everybody is saying that the governor said he didn't like the language in the bill already, evaluating, and that's why they pulled it. It's important to get these bills passed, but if they don't, then it's our responsibility to bring them up for a vote, because it forces these career politicians to actually go on record where they can be held accountable. We also have to hold the corporates who are against it on record. So they. Oh no, I just lost my internet contact. Bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. Bear with me. Oh no. But we determined over here. Know what I'm saying? We're determined. I created the grassroots community activist movement 3 decades ago, and now I'm calling for GRCAM members worldwide to get behind our film project so that to let the Black world know who we are and what we're trying to do for our people that's trapped in American ghettos, starting in Chicago, as well as throughout the diaspora. We just want everybody to know who we are. That's bottom line. I'm not afraid of having small numbers, just as long as we can get things done. That's all I care about. Change has never come as a result of the masses. Change has always come as a result of a motivated few. We will take the lead and turn around our inner cities in America, starting in Chicago. Wake up, Black world. GRCAM is on the scene. Most Black people are scared because they've been defeated, and the reason for that is because they have spent their whole lives listening to naysayers who have not been able to make anything happen. They haven't built anything, so they sit up here and say all kinds of negative things, and then the next thing you know, they try to pass their own defeated mentality on us. As the anchor man for the New Black Voices of Media, I just want to put this in proper context. When someone tells you that you're not going to get reparations, they say we're never going to get off those plantations, but eventually we did. Please leave a public comment about the topic in the comment section below this video podcast and share with your friends on all social media sites you are on. This will help get the ball rolling. Our second topic, Van Jones claimed Democrats have moved from justice, diversity, and reparations to freedom. I found a video clip about Van Jones talking about Kamala Harris fixing some problems on the left. He said to watch that video clip, just go to my Medium transcript located in the comment section below this video podcast and scroll down to show and prove and look exactly for where it says Van Jones says Democrats have moved on from justice, diversity, and reparations to freedom. And I prefer that you would go to where it says 501 through 523. If you listen to those, that's where he's, actually saying all those things. So basically, what he was saying in the video is that the Democrats have moved from justice, diversity, reparation for the past to focus on freedom. It's not just about diversity. It's about patriotism. We're putting the party back in the Democrat Party. What Van Jones is saying is how they really feel about Black Americans. He said Kamala Harris has done something. She's fixing some problems on the left. Before we walk in here, it was about justice. So advocating for justice is a problem for the Democrats when Black Americans bring that up. Democrats have a problem when we talk about, justice. When we talk about diversity, making sure Black Americans get our equal share in resources, Then he mentions reparations for the past is a problem for Democrats. Everything that he mentioned is what Black Americans have been talking about. Reparation is our last fight in America. We've gone from talking about justice to now it's about freedom. It's not just about diversity. It's about patriotism. That's what he is saying. The Democrats have been discussing what we've been advocating for as a problem. Our greatest stumbling block in America is people like Van Jones, who is a Democrat shield, and he's a black boule. They are the problem because they cause much confusion. They are bought and paid for by the Democrats to mislead Black Americans on purpose in order to undermine our progress. Where is the Latino commentator talking down to Latinos? Where is the Asian commentator talking down to Asians? Nobody does this to their own group except Black Americans. We don't have unity among ourselves. The Democrat hasn't mentioned Sonia Massey at all. A majority of Black Americans are not serious about reparations. If Black Americans were serious, then the Democrats would lose the election. If Black Americans voted like they did in the 2020 election and give the Democrats another 4 years, then we are choosing to suffer. We're the only group in America that would choose suffering. No other group in America would do that. It's getting very annoying. I'm telling you. I've been doing this for 32 years and still I am on first base. I'm getting very annoyed. Yes, somebody has to do it. That's why my film project is my last attempt to try to do something positive for my racial group before I cut and run to Africa. I want to make sure we get it popping here in America first, and I want to make sure that I'm able to sustain myself when I come to Africa and bring economic tangibles to my members in South Africa. I believe God will see me through. I put 32 years of my life on the line trying to connect with other like-minded Black Americans and like-minded African immigrants, and yet I am still on first base. Now I'm ready to take my ideas to the next level by turning my revised book into a film. Once I'm able to get this film project fully funded and made, then I can do all the things that I have been talking about for the past 32 years. We have to punish the Democrats politically. We gotta vote against blue no matter who at this point. When Trump was in office, things were a lot more prosperous and a lot more affordable. When the Biden-Harris administration got into office, things started to change. I am not voting for her. I'm looking at what policies she is offering Black America. Look at what Kamala Harris and the Democrats are trying to do to the African American community. They're dumping illegal immigrants in our communities to dry up our resources. We're already struggling. But, it is what it is. If Black America don't want to receive my vision and plan, well, that's on them. That's why I'm trying to get my message heard loud and clear. This is why I created this platform. This is why I do video podcasts so people can see me. Because I used to do audio podcasts. That wasn't working too well for me, but hey, I did it. On this platform, we focus on what's happening in Black America. We have to make sure that the Democrat Party feel our pain by what they did in California. We encourage everybody to register to vote and participate in this election. We need all hands on deck. Vote against blue no matter who. because I'm sick and tired of what the Democrats have been doing to Black Americans. Black Americans have been the most loyal supporters, voting for them 90% for the past 60 years, and yet we ain't got nothing to show for it. We're about our reparations, and if you're not going to give it to us, then we're not going to vote for you, period. It's just that simple. California Legislative Black Caucus, we need all hands on deck to vote them out of office. Do a protest vote, either vote Republican Party or third party candidate. Please leave a public comment about the topic in the comment section below this video podcast and share with your friends on all social media sites that you are on. This will help get the ball rolling. If you don't show these career politicians that you are serious, then they will continue to treat us as fourth and fifth class citizens. This is not a political movement. This is a social movement. It's not going on the time clock of the legislature or the presidential election. This is the agenda, and this is our movement. This is a fundamental shift in the paradigm of human history that we are going to keep pushing until America has corrected the greatest wrong in history of mankind. That's what our mission here is all about. Our reparations across the board. I'm going to send a challenge to everybody that's listening to this video podcast. I need you all to support our film project so that we can move beyond cyberspace and get our story on the big screen, to let the Black world know who we are and what we're trying to do for our people who are trapped in American ghettos, starting in Chicago. Hood Liberator Made in Chicago, the war against Willie Lynch begins. You can be a part of this historic docudrama by contributing to our campaign, either on our GoFundMe page or on our PayPal page, which will help fund marketing, promotion, clearance, legal, and general expenses. Please join GRCAM by joining either my Christian groups, Light of the World Inspirational Group, or Christian Spoken Word Network, or join my secular groups, GRCAI of Africa, GRCAI of Chicago, or New Black Voices of Media, etc. Also exchange emails with me if you are serious about doing business with me. Also, so that we can stay connected, because this is my third Facebook page. Hackers are forever bugging. I would like to thank everyone who have contributed or will contribute to support us on our GoFundMe page, or if you are a U.S. citizen, then you can use our PayPal page as a tax write-off, because this is a legitimate 501c3 nonprofit, faith-based, and community advocacy organization. You can also purchase items from our virtual store or purchase my revised book. The ebook is $9.99, or the paperback is $15 plus shipping and handling. We appreciate your support. You can find all of the links below this video podcast in the comment section. I want to thank all of you for listening to our audio podcast on Spotify. This will conclude our show for today. We will see you on the next episode. Peace and blessings.